Welcome to this explainer. I want you to take a quick second and think about alien worlds. Usually, when we do that, we look up, right? We picture distant stars, crazy images from telescopes showing swirling galaxies, or rovers trundling across the dusty plains of Mars. But what if I told you that you don't actually need to look up at all? Today, I want you to look down. Beneath our feet, scattered right here across our own continents, are environments so bizarre, so extreme, they literally feel like they belong in a totally different solar system.
So, what if the most alien world is actually our own? We don't need a spaceship to find mind bending, verified scientific anomalies. We just need to know exactly where to look on Earth. In this explainer, we're going to take a cinematic, documentary style journey through our planet's absolute strangest things. We're talking impossible natural formations, totally unusual biology, and incredibly rare geological phenomena. And we're going to dive into the verified science to separate the facts from the myths.
Let's kick things off with Section 1, Realm of Fire, the doorway and the blue flame. We're starting with places where the Earth itself just seems to be endlessly burning, completely defying how we think nature usually works. Our first stop is a place ominously nicknamed the Doorway to Hell. This is the Darvaza gas crater. Now, as terrifying and mythical as that name sounds, the geological reality is honestly even cooler. This isn't some mystical gateway to the underworld, it's a massive, flaming sinkhole. It's constantly seeping natural gas straight up from deep within the Earth. And get this, it has been burning continuously for decades. Imagine standing on the edge of this massive crater, just feeling the intense heat of an endless fire fueled by the planet itself. It's a perfect example of Earth's volatile chemistry violently bubbling right up to the surface. Okay, so from the bright orange glow of Darvaza, we're going to travel to the surreal, glowing blue flames of the Kawa Ijen volcano. A volcano that burns blue? I know, it sounds like pure science fiction, but it is a breathtaking, very real thing. Just look at the crazy juxtaposition here. On one side, you have Darvaza, which is fueled by a natural gas seep. But over on the other side, Kawa Ijen isn't just your standard volcano. It actually holds the world's largest highly acidic lake. Those stunning blue flames you're seeing, they aren't from wood or gas. That is highly combustible sulfur burning at extremely high temperatures. It really just illustrates how incredibly diverse and extreme the chemistry of Earth's surface can be, creating entirely different, super dramatic visual effects just based on whatever local elements happen to be lying around. Moving right along, we enter the realm of ice and water, bleeding glaciers and floating parks. So we are leaving that searing heat completely behind us to explore the freezing and aquatic extremes of our planet. And our first stop looks like a scene ripped straight out of a horror movie. Welcome to East Antarctica, one of the most desolate places on Earth and home to bloodfalls. You look at this stark white glacier, and pouring straight out of its face is what looks exactly like a gruesome, blood-red liquid. For a really long time, this was just an incredibly eerie mystery. I mean, why is this glacier bleeding? Well, the science behind the spectacle is what makes this so cool. Recent studies finally uncovered a massive clue, and it all comes down to a timeline of ancient brine. Long, long ago, when sea levels were actually much higher than they are today, this intensely salty water, the brine, was emplaced in the landscape. Then, when the sea levels eventually dropped, this ancient brine was left behind and got trapped deep under the expanding glacial ice. So when this super salty, iron-rich water finally makes its way out and hits the air, it oxidizes, instantly turning that striking, rusty red color. It takes this crazy myth of a bleeding glacier and turns it into a literal geological time capsule. All right, from those frozen extremes, let's pivot to a completely unique aquatic ecosystem. This is Loktak Lake in India. It's often described as a living mosaic of floating islands. And remarkably, this lake is home to the only floating national park on the entire Earth. You literally have whole land masses packed with vegetation and wildlife just bobbing and floating on the water's surface. It's a gorgeous reminder of the sheer adaptability and, honestly, the weirdness of Earth's ecosystems. Now we're going to explore extreme scale, mega tsunamis, and giant snakes. Let's shift our focus to the sheer, terrifying scale of Earth's natural phenomena and its biological history. Because sometimes, the strangest thing about our planet isn't how things behave, but simply how unimaginably massive they can get. 1,720 feet. Just let the magnitude of that number sink in for a moment. That is not the height of a mountain peak. That is the run-up height of the tallest tsunami ever recorded in human history, which happened in Lituya Bay, Alaska. A literal wave of water surging up a mountainside to a height of nearly 2,000 feet. To really wrap our heads around this, when we compare that Latuya Bay mega tsunami to a standard modern skyscraper, which usually sits right around 1,000 feet tall, the wave completely dwarfs it. It is almost incomprehensible. But it locks in the terrifying reality of these geological events. The Earth has the raw power to displace water high enough to wash completely over our tallest buildings, with plenty of room to spare.
But extreme scale isn't just a geological thing, it's a biological one too. Because if you were walking the Earth millions of years ago, you wouldn't just be dodging mega tsunamis, you might actually run into the Titanoboa.
So after the catastrophic asteroid impact wiped out the dinosaurs, this massive ecological vacuum was left behind. And slithering right into that void was the behemoth Titanoboa. It emerged post-dinosaurs to become the absolute, ultimate apex predator on the planet. It currently holds the heavyweight title as the largest snake to have ever existed on Earth. And recent research actually proves it was deadlier than anyone even initially imagined. Just picture a snake so unimaginably huge that it ruled the prehistoric jungles with zero competition. Pure nightmare fuel, right?
Finally, we're going to examine life in the deep, redefining limits. To find this next bizarre extreme, we have to descend, far away from the surface, far away from the sunlight, deep into the dark, crushing crust of the Earth itself. We are looking for life in places where it simply shouldn't exist, redefining life at its limits. Think about that for a second. We naturally assume that biology needs sunlight, warmth, and fresh oxygen to survive. But down in the pitch black of the Earth's subterranean layers, a discovery was made that basically threw the rulebook out the window. Meet the devil worm. It holds the record as the deepest living animal ever discovered in the depths of our planet's crust. When this single ridiculously resilient little worm was found, it kicked off this extraordinarily lucky series of events that completely transformed our scientific understanding of biology at extreme depths. I mean, if an animal can survive down there, under mind-bending pressure and blistering heat, hidden completely away from the surface world, it fundamentally changes our entire definition of a habitable environment.
Which brings us to our final section and the ultimate question. What remains hidden? The boundary beneath us. If the devil worm is hiding way down in the crust, we really have to look even deeper into the Earth's interior architecture and ask, what else is down there? To understand this, we look at a geological feature known as the MOHO, or the Maharovich discontinuity. This is the official boundary separating the Earth's rocky crust, where we live, from the incredibly hot, churning mantle underneath. It is, basically, the absolute floor of the world as we understand it. And that leaves us with this final, haunting question. What other bizarre life forms or crazy geological anomalies are waiting to be found, hiding in the dark all the way down toward the MOHO? We've found bleeding ancient glaciers, lakes of blue fire, and animals thriving miles beneath solid rock. So, as much as we love to look to the stars to find the unknown, there is still an entire uncharted alien planet waiting to be discovered right beneath our very feet. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep your curiosity alive until next time.